Oh shit! They didn't even give me the starting screen. Well, that's tight. That's really tight. Um, 1 second. Really tight. All right, cool. Um, so this is a special type of stream for me. Normally on the weekends, me and a fellow podcaster, Tara Bowen Big, she's the host of we have a Take podcast and Step Back Sisterhood. We talk about the weekend games on stream. Maybe I should change the color of this text. Anyway, so yikes. Anyway, so normally she and I do a quick little pregame for the upcoming game of the weekend. She is on vacation, a well-earned vacation, so I'm here to talk about this game. It is the second game between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Portland Trail Blazers. Uh, what took me so long before I actually started streaming was I needed the information of the injury report. The injury report, especially in this type of environment with COVID, is highly important. So we don't have the Blazers' full injury report yet. Zach Collins is, of course, out. Derek Jones Jr. is questionable with a hip contusion. For the Memphis Grizzlies, Jaren Jackson Jr. is out due to injury management. He did a really good job in limited minutes, produced a whole lot of points and rebounds and fouls because that is Jaren Jackson Jr. And at the 1:30 Eastern, uh, 1:30 Eastern injury report, Jonas Valanciunas was rated questionable, but now he is in. So with Jonas in, it kind of is just like the Memphis Grizzlies this year with Jaren Jackson out, Jonas in. So I just pulled up a random game for the rotations where I knew Jonas was going to play. So the potential starting lineup for the Memphis Grizzlies with Jonas Valanciunas in, Jaren Jackson Jr. out, John Morant at the 1, Dylan Brooks, Grayson Allen at the wings, Kyle Anderson, aka Slow Mo, at the 4, Jonas Valanciunas at the 5. And Jonas Valanciunas in this game is getting 34 minutes a game. He is getting starters minutes. One of the best things about the game earlier this week was the fact that Yusuf Nurkic could get unlimited run at the 5, going against smaller bigs like Xavier Tillman and Brandon Clark. So without that humongous benefit of just us dominating the bigs, this game is getting a lot closer. I mean, it was a 1 point game, but in the last 5 minutes or during that game, we fed Yusuf Nurkic. He got a lot of production off of pick and roll and him just being bigger, stronger than everyone else. This was Yusuf's best game of the year. He finished with 26 points, +9, the most positive player on our roster in terms of plus minus. Yes, I know that's a busy stat, but it was without a doubt his best game of the year. And now they have a big that absolutely can uh now they have a big that absolutely can stop Yusuf. And sorry, some spam bot just wanted to know if I wanted to be famous. So with this team, the Blazers, the starting lineup is going to be Dame, CJ, Norm, your Robert, and Yusuf. And I really want to talk about how big of a advantage Yusuf had versus Xavier and Brandon Clark and a little bit of Triple J. He, I know he missed the that shot in the last second, but he was making twos. He was making post shots, and we've always talked about Yusuf. If he hit his shots in the paint, he would be a whole new player. Well, he did that game. When you look at the box score and the game flow between the Grizzlies versus the Blazers in this first game, you notice that Dylan Brooks continuously produced in every stint that he was in. He may have missed some shots and was inefficient from the field, but he got his points up. In the third quarter, he went 7 for 11, 3 for 4 from 3. He was producing, getting a lot of points, and you could tell that Dylan was I probably should change. But Dylan was absolutely getting anything he wanted in the basket and talking his shit. Um, I think this game we have to adjust if Dylan Brooks is getting everything he wants. So whether that's put someone on him that actually can guard him, and we have guys that are wing defenders. We have a Derek Jones Jr. who's questionable. He is questionable, but we also have Norman Powell and Robert Covington, two really good defenders. I mean, looking at this team, looking at the Memphis Grizzlies, Nurk and Jonas are going to go at each other, but Dylan Brooks, Grayson Allen, Kyle Anderson. I mean, Kyle Anderson can produce, but he needs the ball in his hands to produce. So it's different than moving off ball. So maybe we'd put an actual decent off ball defender on him. I know that we've been flashing, on rotations trying to get to shooters, but maybe whoever's on a hot shooter doesn't dig defensively and try and, help. Maybe we need to guard guys that are shooting like amazing from the field. Looking at that box score of the last game, we can be upset about CJ's shot selection, and I think that's warranted because CJ is never going to be an efficient shooter in terms of the shots that he shoots because he's so talented. He doesn't need to be careful about his shot selection. But what really excited me about CJ's performance was the rebounding and assisting. He really focused in on getting his teammates the ball and being a threat for those rebounds. CJ McCollum had a great game in terms of peripheral stats. And those stats are always going to be the sticking point between CJ being good and great. You see in the playoffs that he contributes in rebounds and assists. Well, last game against the Grizzlies, he contributed in rebounds and assists, and that was huge for our team. I don't think we would have been in the place that we were with a chance to win the game without CJ's rebounding, especially on the offensive end. Going to our next player, the superstar Damian Lillard, a lot of people were worried about Dame because in that first quarter he missed 3 shots, but he would go to the line and get 2 points, but he wasn't as efficient as we would like. And I think for that, Dame isn't going to be the best player ever for 48 minutes. There's times and places where he's going to kick when we need him the most. So as long as there's time on the clock and Damian Lillard is in the game and ready to produce, his ceiling is so high that he can produce so much in